Why did you sell us a dream? You made us spend our youth, our wealth in this country and gave us a dream. You don't owe us anything. We have worked hard for it.
America built its identity on a simple promise. Work hard, follow the rules, and you'll find opportunity. Millions believed it. They crossed oceans, deserts, and borders chasing that dream. But now, that promise is cracking.
There's no dreams here. Only nightmares. You can get along. This ain't the place you dream about.
I've witnessed it in shelters, border towns, and crowded city streets. People who followed every rule are sleeping in cars and hiding under overpasses. This isn't only about immigration, it's about the kind of nation we're becoming. The dream that once lifted America is slipping, and for too many, it ends in the shadows. Another unseen story among the homeless in America. So how did the promise begin to fail? The dream that once welcomed them. For generations, America sent out a message to the world. If you work hard and stay true to your path, you can build a better life here. Movies, consulates, and universities carried that invitation across continents, and people listened. They walked away from everything, homes, family, language, trusting that this country would honor its word. They borrowed money, sold land, and gambled their futures on the belief that America was still a place where effort mattered. And for decades, America thrived because of that trust. Immigrants filled hospital wards, research labs, and factories. International students poured billions into universities. Families revived fading towns and built thriving neighborhoods. America didn't grow alone. It grew because the world believed in its dream. But something has shifted. The tone is colder now. The same nation that once said, "We need you," now says there are too many of you. Leaders who once described immigration as America's heartbeat now label it a threat. I met an engineer from India, a man who spent 7 years in Silicon Valley, paid taxes, volunteered locally, never broke a single rule. Today, new policies threaten to deny his renewal. He looked at me and said, "If America didn't want us here, why did it invite us?" I had no answer, because his question wasn't just about immigration, it was about betrayal. He did everything right, and still he's being pushed out. That isn't just unfair, it's inhumane. And it makes me wonder, what kind of country breaks its own promise? What happens when the world stops believing in the dream America built its identity on? Because when trust disappears, even the strongest economy can't hide the cracks. And when the dream falls apart, it's not just immigrants who lose, America loses too. Where hope meets the wall. One of the harshest truths about the immigration system is this: it doesn't take violence to upend a life, just paperwork. No chaos, no explosions. Just a form denied, a renewal delayed, a letter that changes everything. Under recent administrations, especially Trump's, those quiet shifts turned into barriers. Processing times stretched endlessly. Programs were shut down overnight. What once looked like a path towards stability became a maze designed to exhaust people into giving up. Every rule change adds another layer of fear: visas postponed, permits rejected, renewals lost in a bureaucratic fog. For families stuck in the middle, each day becomes a waiting game, not for opportunity, but for permission to stay. The real cost isn't in statistics, it's in sleepless nights, jobs lost, homes packed into boxes. Across states like Texas, California, and New York, people who trusted America's promise now live one envelope away from losing everything. These aren't people trying to bend the rules. They're nurses, teachers, caregivers, students, the very people who kept this country afloat through disasters and crises. They worked through pandemics, showed up when no one else could, paid taxes, stayed out of trouble. They believed that following the law would protect them. But when policies become punishment, that belief shatters. And while politicians argue on TV about security and control, lives unravel in silence. Fathers work double shifts, yet still can't make rent because their work permits are stuck in limbo. Mothers skip meals so their children can eat while preparing for their next court date. Kids stay home from school because their families fear being seen. These people didn't fail. The system failed them. And when a system collapses, it doesn't just create delays, it creates homelessness. It creates despair. It turns people who once arrived legally into statistics, sleeping in cars or lining up outside churches. Another painful addition to the homeless in America. This isn't just an immigration story, it's a reflection of who we are becoming as a country. A nation that once sold hope now wraps that hope in red tape. And as the rules tighten, more people fall through the cracks, unseen and unheard. So the question becomes, when policies tighten faster than lives can adjust, who will pick up the pieces? And when hope finally hits the wall, what's left of the dream that shaped America in the first place? The Invisible Americans. I remember walking into a tiny apartment in Los Angeles, 1 bedroom, 7 people, and a silence that felt heavier than the air. The walls were lined with old photos, graduations, weddings, birthday dinners. You could see the pride in those frames, the hope, the certainty that they had made it. Every smile in those pictures belonged to someone who once believed in the American promise. Now, every person in that small room was waiting for a renewal, a work permit, a decision that could decide the course of their entire life. One young woman from Nigeria told me she had graduated from a U.S. university with honors. Her English was flawless, job offers lined up, and she carried herself like someone ready to build a future here. My professors told me I had a bright future, she said. Now I'm told to go back, like my dreams expired with my visa. She let out a small, uneasy laugh when she said it, but her eyes said everything else. In the corner, a man in his 40s hunched over a cracked phone. Back home, he'd been an electrical engineer. Here, he fixes old devices for cash. just enough to cover rent. I did everything right, he told me. I followed the law, paid my taxes, waited my turn. It's like the rules changed when I wasn't looking. That line stayed with me. The rules changed when I wasn't looking. Because that's exactly what's happening across the country. Quietly, rule by rule, people's lives are being rewritten without warning. These aren't the stories that lead the evening news. They don't trend online. They don't fit neatly into a headline. But they're everywhere. Crammed apartments, crowded shelters, long lines outside immigration offices where hope shrinks a little more each day. Some families keep their suitcases half-packed, just in case they're told to go. Some stop opening the door at all. They live with the constant dread of a knock that could end everything. But what breaks them most isn't just fear, it's rejection. America once called itself a nation of immigrants. Now it tells them they're too many, too different, too much. When I stepped back out of that apartment, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had gone deeply wrong. These weren't criminals. They were dreamers, caregivers, taxpayers, people who did exactly what America told them to do. Somewhere between campaign slogans and political battles, their humanity vanished from the story. And when I look at the rise of the homeless in America, I can't help but see their faces in that crisis too. People abandoned by a system they trusted, forgotten in a country that once promised them a fair chance. They came chasing the American dream. Now they're stuck in its shadow. Fear wins, people lose. In America, almost everything turns into a political fight, and immigration has become one of the harshest battlefields. Instead of searching for real solutions, leaders use human beings as tools for their campaigns. Every election cycle, the same words echo: border crisis, invasion, security threat. It's the same fear repackaged over and over. It stopped being about fixing a problem and became about winning power. During the Trump years, that fear felt louder and more personal. Walls were built, not only along the border, but between neighbors, coworkers, even families. The message was blunt. Some people belong here, and some don't. But the truth is, even as the names in Washington change, the politics barely do. The tone may sound softer now, but the system is still failing. And the people paying the price are not the ones making the speeches. The national conversation has turned toxic. Compassion gets labeled weakness. Cruelty gets dressed up as control. Everyone shouts. Almost no one listens. And while the arguing plays out on screens, real lives quietly unravel. Behind the noise are families losing everything they spent years building. Legal immigrants let go from their jobs when work permits lapse. Students sent back days after graduation. Refugees turned away from shelters as funding dries up and space runs out. Every day, more people who followed the rules, who believed in America's promise, find themselves without a plan, without a roof, without hope. In cities like Los Angeles, Houston, and New York, you can see it in plain sight. Former caregivers, students, and workers now sleep in cars, beneath overpasses, or on cots in church basements. Some still carry folders full of documents, as if a stack of papers might somehow open a door again. Others stop believing there's a door at all, fading quietly into the growing wave of homeless in America. We talk about immigration and homelessness as if they're two separate crises. They're not. They grow from the same roots: inequality, bureaucracy, and neglect. When leaders turn people into political pawns, when laws change without regard for the lives built around them, the ending is always the same. Lives fall apart. America once promised opportunity, a fair chance for anyone willing to put in the work. A nation that sells that dream doesn't get to walk away when it breaks. But that's what's happening. People who arrived legally, who did everything this country asked of them, are being abandoned while their stories are turned into talking points. How many more families have to lose everything before we admit that compassion isn't a weakness? It's a responsibility. How many more people have to sleep on sidewalks before we admit that fear has replaced fairness? Because at this point, it's not just a policy debate, it's a test of our character. And if we can't find the courage to see the human beings behind the politics, then the dream we keep defending might already be gone. When the American dream stops working. Every broken promise leaves more than disappointment. It leaves a scar, not just on the people who trusted it, but on the country that made it. For generations, America told the world a simple story. If you work hard, follow the rules, and stay honest, you can build a life here. That belief built factories, farms, families. It gave meaning to sacrifice. It made people believe that even in hard times, fairness still mattered. But today, that promise is starting to fracture. All over the country, immigrants who did everything by the book now live in constant uncertainty. One new rule, one missed update, one shifted deadline, and suddenly everything they've built starts coming apart. It's not just a form being denied, it's entire lives unraveling. Parents lying awake at night afraid of being taken away. Workers losing jobs when their permits expire. Students forced to choose between staying in school and keeping the lights on. These are people who trusted the system, who did exactly what they were told. Yet the system no longer returns that trust. The rules have turned into a maze, and every path seems to end in another wall. The more people try to stay within the law, the more the ground moves beneath them. And when the rules stop protecting those who follow them, something deeper breaks, the moral center of the nation. We can see the fallout everywhere. Shelters filled with people who once had steady jobs, leases, and long-term plans. Immigrants sleeping in cars under bridges or in crowded shelters, still clutching legal documents that mean less with each passing day. They are not failures. They are the collateral damage of a system that promised stability but delivered chaos and helped feed the growing crisis of the homeless in America. Here's the truth we don't like to face. When the American dream stops working for the people who believe in it the most, it stops working for everyone. Because the dream has never been just about success. It's about trust. It's about believing that fairness exists, that doing the right thing still counts for something. Once that belief fades, laws become empty paragraphs, and hope becomes just another word in a speech. This isn't just a policy debate, it's a moral test. It's about who we are when the system fails, and whether we have the courage to repair it. We can't keep pretending immigration and homelessness are separate stories. They're chapters in the same book, about people falling through gaps created by indifference, fear, and neglect. Every broken promise adds another name to the list of those left behind. The real danger isn't only lost jobs or lost homes. It's the loss of faith, the quiet realization that the country people trusted has stopped keeping its word. If America no longer protects those who follow the rules, then what do those rules mean? And if a nation can't keep its promises, how long before it loses its soul? Can America still keep its word? So where do we go from here? That's the question we have to face, without spin, without slogans. For years, America told the world it stood for fairness, opportunity, and second chances. But now, that promise feels fragile, even broken. The immigration system isn't about opportunity anymore. It's about survival. It's about leverage. Every policy, every press conference, every headline about the border is shaped more to win elections than to fix anything. And while politicians argue, real people live with the consequences. In city after city, Los Angeles, Denver, Miami, shelters are full of families who followed the rules, worked hard, paid taxes, and still lost their homes. Immigrants with legal status sleep in cars, in tents, or in overcrowded shelters because rent is out of reach, wages are too low, and the system offers them no real path forward. This isn't just about immigration. It's a mirror reflecting who we've become. We say we value hard work, but we look away when workers lose everything. And yet, in the middle of all this, something real still survives: compassion. You won't always see it in Congress or campaign ads. You see it in church basements, community centers, and neighborhood kitchens. In volunteers who bring food to shelters. In lawyers who take on cases for families who can't pay. In everyday Americans who don't care where someone was born before they offer help. Human courage to look past borders and labels long enough to see a person instead of a problem. If America is going to rebuild its promise, it won't happen through anger or exclusion. It will happen when we remember that every immigrant, every worker, every dreamer is part of the American story. Including those who have slipped into the ranks of the homeless in America. Not because they failed, but because the system did. Before we talk about walls, we should talk about belonging. Because a nation isn't defined by who it pushes out. It's defined by who it refuses to abandon. The real question isn't whether America can keep its promise. It's whether we still have the will and the heart to keep it alive. Conclusion. In the end, this isn't just a story about immigrants, it's a story about America and whether we still honor our word. A nation is ultimately judged not by its power, but by how it treats those who believed in its promise enough to risk everything for it. The American dream was never supposed to be easy, but it was supposed to be fair. If we let fear replace compassion and politics replace truth, we don't just risk losing our ideals, we risk losing ourselves. Because when America stops keeping its promises, the dream doesn't only die for them, it dies for all of us.